Okay, you may have heard Point of Rental recently acquired Record360, a digital inspection tool that is used by thousands of businesses worldwide. And I wanted to talk with our CEO, Wayne Harris, and Record360 CEO, Abby Chao, and basically find out how this thing came to be. So, Wayne, Abby, how did this acquisition come to be? The world found out about it last week, but I assume it takes more than a few days to organize something like this.
Yeah, I would say if we're talking about the beginning of the relationship and Record 360 getting to know Point of Rental, you would hear our founder say that it was basically from the inception of Record 360 that we've been in conversation and we've talked in the past about doing integrations and working together. But for this specific acquisition, I would say it's been many months in the making, where we at Record 360 were looking for the perfect partner and the perfect home, and we were really delighted that Point of Rental decided that they were curious too and wanted to start that conversation.
Yeah, I think it's probably been a decade since I first met Damon.
Yeah.
And he's always at the ARA shows and the different shows, and so he's always represented Record 360 quite well. And so, yeah, we've known him for a long time. And so when this opportunity came up at the end of the last year, we were excited from the start that we thought that it was a really good fit for Point of Rental, for the industry, for our customers. So, yeah, I think it has been a relationship that's been for a decade, but that part it's been close, but been good.
Okay, Wayne, I know we've been internally developing a lot of products that are supposed to be able to be used with any platform, and a lot of the stuff that we have has similar functionalities. So why did we want to acquire Record 360 instead of just keeping on doing what we're doing?
I think for Point of Rental, I think the synergies is what gets us most excited. So Point of Rental has decided for a long time that we're focused on the rental industry, higher if you're outside the United States, but that's what our focus is on. And that's the same focus that Record 360 has been. And then it's also about culture. And so Record 360 is really about the customer, serving the customer, bringing value to the customer. The way you guys treat your employees and treat the customers just really line up nicely with how Point of Rental does. And so there's a lot of things that just fit nicely together. And Point of Rental does have a bigger footprint than Record 360 does. So we're excited by the opportunity from a geographical standpoint that we can bring the solution that's working on some of the largest rental companies in North America. We can bring those to Europe and to Australia and a number of different countries around the world. So that's exciting for us. And then just since Record 360 didn't have an RMS, it was developed in a way that allowed it to be standalone. But most all rental companies have an RMS, and so we think that being able to put features into Record 360 that particularly help any RMS, not just Point of Rental, but any RMS, like if you use any RMS, which is basically everybody today, that they would be able to have more functionality and streamline and a deeper integration. So I think Record 360 for a long time has been more about the standalone part of it. And like with Point of Rental, I think Point of Rental is going to emphasize the integrated portion of that. And so whether you have a Point of Rental RMS or you have any other RMS, like those integrations are going to make it where Record 360 is going to be able to do a much more seamless and thorough job for all the customers.
Yeah, and I would say that Record 360 on a standalone basis, we've had to be laser focused as a smaller organization on really addressing those questions of what is a great inspection and what is that great check and check out procedure. And we've had ambitions to do some of the things that you're talking about, but we've had some limitations just based on our size and our resources. So from our perspective, we're really excited to be part of the Point of Rental family because of a couple of those things that you mentioned. The global ambitions, I think, is really exciting for our team. So we've known and we have some customers globally, but we've never had the capacity to really put big resources behind that. And so the fact that Point of Rental is already global and has those, that team in the UK and Australia, those are places where we've always known Record360 can be successful, but we haven't been able to focus on it. And similarly, your points around the product expansion opportunities and the integrations opportunities, we've talked about, or we've had customers reach out to us and say, oh man, it would be so great if you could build a solution around X or Y, whether that's payments, dispatch, whatever it may be. Because I think in our industry, there's such a craving for this best-in-class software. But we've often had to say no because we look at our team and we're like, man, we really need to just stay focused on inspections and innovating there. We don't have the team to explore all these other options. But since Point of Rental has already built out some of those solutions, I think it would be a slam dunk for us to consider the ways that we can sell those together or integrate them or build them into the Record360 product, which I think is really exciting. Very similar story with integrations. We've always known that that's important, and we've been able to integrate with the customers that really demand it. But I would love for us to be able to lead with that even more, because we know that our customers want solutions that seamlessly work together so that they don't have to be entering things in multiple systems or dealing with that clunkiness. So I'm really excited that those happen to be the things that Point of Rental is already prioritizing, and that Record360, I think, will just see acceleration on all of those fronts.
Yep. And I think further to that, like you're talking about Record360 being laser focused on inspections, what it's allowed you to do is to be best in class on inspections. And so Point of Rental, we do a lot of stuff. We have our RMSs, but we also have inspections, and we also have mobile, and we also have e-commerce and a lot of different things. But because you've only done inspections, it's allowed you to really do an amazing job on inspections. And so one of the things that we think about is while we do have functionality that's similar to Record360, the level of detail that is onto the inspection is just at a higher rate. So like we're excited to be able to pull that value to our customers into Point of Rental, and then to be integrated in that seamless manner as well. So it's pretty exciting.
Absolutely.
Okay, why now? Why 2024? If this is something that has been kind of looked at and considered for a while, why is now the right time?
I don't know that there's a right answer to that. It is the time that happened, so I would say in general. 6 months ago, it wasn't on Point of Rental's radar that we were going to do this. And in fact, there's a couple of products that we're launching at the ARA show that would be like, well, why? How does this all work in here? So I would say that it maybe wasn't a part of our grand plan, but it is the timing that it is. But I also think there's a level of momentum that happens both on a Point of Rental side and on a Record360 side. And probably 5 years ago, we did talk to Damon about integration and maybe an acquisition possibility, and just the size that it was and what it was doing. It would have just been a function of Point of Rental at that point. Whereas now, our plan is that Record360 operates as an independent business. It is a business in its own right. And so it will continue to operate at that. And so if we had done something 5 years ago, it would have probably just kind of got folded into Point of Rental and been just a small function of it. Whereas now, it is its own standalone, can stand on itself. So from a timing standpoint, I think all those things work together to be a good timing.
Yeah, and I also think from the Record360 side, over the past year or so, I think we've really hit our stride a bit in growth and also in our product. So I think at this point, the product is, obviously, we're going to continue to innovate beyond this, but I think that the product is mature and has a lot of different, has the ability to accommodate a lot of different use cases, has the ability to scale to everything from your mom and pop shop all the way up to some of the largest rental shops in the world. And so I think that also creates a natural opportunity for our teams to work together more effectively, and for example, for the Record360 team to actually think about some of those expansion opportunities that we were talking about earlier. I think,
Yep.
if that had been 5 years ago, it probably would have been premature to be throwing on a bunch of other functionality
Yep.
because, the strength of the inspection solution maybe would have gotten muddied in that time. Just out of my own curiosity, when for point of rental did this, shift to the unified strategy come to be?
It was probably 4 years ago that we started figuring out what that plan would be. And probably it's really been in the last 2 to 3 years where like we've been working towards it for probably say 4 years, but like it really started like, oh, this is a real thing that you can touch and see the results of it. So probably in the last 2 years is when it's really kind of come to its own. That's like, oh yeah, we've actually arrived at something for that unified. So
Got it. Yeah. I mean, the reason that came to mind is just as we've talked more and more about, point of rental strategy and Record360 strategy, I'm continuously amazed by just how nicely everything fits together.
Yep.
So maybe one aspect too is that, point of rental has hit its stride
Right.
with the unified strategy. And so it makes sense to, make a bet on something like Record360.
Yep, definitely.
Got it. That sounds good. What are the goals for the short term for Record360 as a business unit? Let's say the rest of the year, 2024.
Yeah, I would say for Record360, we're really just focused on continued growth. So I think there's still a ton of opportunity for us to grow in our core markets with the Record360 solution. Outside of that, from a product perspective, we're excited about pushing the next frontier of innovation. So for us, that means some AI initiatives that we're really excited about. We're also in the process of refreshing our product vision broadly, which means I think it's perfect timing with point of rental so that we can be charting that vision together.
Yep.
But yeah, I think that I still think that there's a ton of growth in Record360's immediate future, and point of rental is just accelerating that.
Yeah, and we'll do integrations on our RMS side into Record360, so that will give an opportunity for our current point of rental customers to experience the greatness of Record360, and then I think we'll be giving some insight and help on the Record360's team on what are those endpoints that would help any other RMS or any other DMS to be able to do that integration as well.
Okay, and what are the long-term goals for the combined organization? Like, let's futurecast a bit.
So the long-term organization, in my mind, Record360 is an independent business division, so it will continue to operate and run independently of point of rental, and so that might seem counterintuitive. Point of rental has a lot of resources that we're going to help with resources to help Record360 to be to do even more and grow faster and innovate more. But overall, the support, the implementation, the innovation that's been going on at Record360 will continue to go on. And so we see that that's a great opportunity. As far as for point of rental, like point of rental customers will see the benefit of being able to be tightly integrated with Record360. So I think there's still that positive on both sides of that.
I think that we're going to discover even more opportunities as we go. I think we know each other a little bit. We've spent time together, but I think that there are a ton of synergies between the two organizations, a lot of ideas that are already coming up. And I think that we're going to surface more of those as we get to know each other better.
Yeah. I think, people talk about, 1 + 1 = 2. And so I think in this example, like point of rental and Record360 isn't a 1 + 1 = 2. I think it's a 1 + 1 = 3 or a 4 in the values that we bring and the overlap, the overlap that we bring together. And so I think both sets of customers, both the Record360 set of customers and point of rental customers, are going to see some amazing things that are going to be out of this partnership that I think is going to be really great and really exciting.
All right, Wayne, Abby, thank you for joining me today. It's been really nice to be able to talk to you, and I look forward to working with both of you in the future and seeing how this thing grows.